The woman looked up and saw that their neighbors were frantically moving out. She initially wanted to help, but to her surprise, when the neighbors saw them, it was as though they had seen a monster. The neighbors fled in panic. Confused, the two of them went out into the street and discovered that all the neighbors were driving away in a hurry. They were speeding at 800 miles per hour. Although they had no idea what was happening, they decided to follow the others for safety. Halfway through, a few private cars came speeding toward them, also going at 800 miles per hour in the opposite direction. What were they up to, going back and forth like this? It wasn't until they were stopped by the traffic jam that they realized the road out of the city had already been sealed off by the military. The broadcast urged people to quickly return home. What on earth was going on? Suddenly, a piece of debris struck the engine hood, accompanied by a deafening roar. Two fighter jets flew past overhead. While everyone was still confused, the jets turned toward their small town and, without any warning, dropped countless incendiary bombs. Those who hadn't managed to escape were instantly obliterated. Everyone was terrified by the scene. Just then, the two fighter jets turned around and flew straight toward them. The people immediately panicked and scattered in all directions like headless flies. Anna looked up and saw the water tower on the mountain, and an idea suddenly came to her. Without hesitation, they quickly ran toward the mountain. When they had climbed halfway up, a loud crash was heard from behind, followed by a burst of flames. They had to quicken their pace. Soon, they found a concealed entrance. It turned out to be an old, forgotten shelter. As the planes drew nearer, Gale smashed the lock and led the way inside. The moment the door closed, a bomb exploded right above their heads. They couldn't understand why the military would go to such lengths, but for now, there was no choice but to settle down here. Fortunately, the basement contained a large stockpile of expired food, enough to sustain the family for a long time. So, they locked the shelter door securely with a chain, no longer expecting anything from the outside world. However, life in the underground shelter was far from easy. Every day, they had only canned food to eat and murky water drawn from the underground well to drink. When bored, they played cards or hide and seek. This isolated existence gave them the eerie feeling of being in an apocalyptic world. But as time passed, it became too much for the daughter to bear. She asked her father how long they would have to stay down here. Gale didn't know. He could only comfort her, telling her that they would emerge again when the virus had disappeared and nature began to thrive again. But little did they know, they would end up waiting for over 300 days. The daughter, not content with waiting, often used a device made by Anna to peek outside through the ventilation shaft. Each time, what she saw was the same, the ruined aftermath of bombings. Houses were charred black, trees reduced to mere stumps, with no signs of life left. Yet despite this, the daughter still held on to hope. One night, while her parents were sleeping, she quietly climbed up the ladder, pulled at the chain with all her might, and tried to open the shelter door to sneak out. But no one expected that the noise she accidentally made would cause them even more trouble.